My friends, so in this video I have compiled 16 best looking Christmas DIYs for 2025. So grab your coffee, press play and enjoy. Lots of inspiration. So let's get crafting. We're starting with this wood round. I gave it 2 good coats of folk art Adirondack. Now it's dry. I'm going to go in with some Waverly antique wax and a dry chippy brush. So I just offloaded some of the antique wax on the napkin and I'm just stroking this, giving it light strokes. Now that was done, I took my stencil. I think I got these from Temu when Temu just started, and this says joy to the world. So and it's the exact size as the board, which is 12 inches. So I'm just using some masking tape to tape that down securely. Apple barrel, red, and then we have black. So I took my dry chippy brush and I'm just stenciling on the joy. And then this is classic green, and I'm doing that with a sponge dabber. Now that's done, I'm now removing the stencil. Oh, before I remove the stencil, I realized that I did not do the snowflake, so I'm using Waverly chalk paint in pool and a stiff stencil brush. Now that is dry, all the paints, all the areas have been stenciled in. I took this red ink pad and I'm just going around the edge of the board to distress that. Now that's done. As you can see there, I do have some beads. These were already painted. The green ones were all, the red and green were already painted, and the natural ones, I got those from BB Craft. Then I took my Andy Dandy Hardell hand drill and just drilled some holes for the hanger. And before I hang that, or before I add that, I went over it with some Mod Podge. I was trying to decide which ribbon to use. The one you see there on the board, that came from the Dollar Tree. Both of them came from the Dollar Tree, but that one was too small. And because of how the board was, the stencil was designed, it was a little challenging to find the right spot for the ribbon. So here I am now stringing my hanger, adding those beads. I did go ahead and string the hanger from the back to the front. And now I'm using the other ribbon to make just a simple bow. I'm just using a piece of the jute twine to tie that. Which I think it turned out perfect. Let me know what you think. So I made the awareness bow, scrunch that in the middle, use the jute to tie it, and now I'm using a little strip from the same ribbon to cover up that jute, and then just glue that on right in the middle. Now because I tied the hanger from the front, I had to cover up those knots, so I took 2 half beads and just glued those down over the knot, and then glued on the bow. And there you have it, my friends. And again, don't ask me why I was pointing. I forgot. But you'll see more of that in the final reveal. Friends, if you're enjoying the video so far, go ahead and give this video a like. And if you have not yet subscribed, now would be a good time to do so. But thank you so much for joining. If we have not met yet, my name is Christine. And on this channel, we do lots of budget-friendly crafting. The last of 3 trays from Woodpecker's Craft. I will leave a link for these down in the description box below. And I'm using one of these dowels. I got this pack from Walmart, and this IOD transfer. So here I am measuring the length of the dowel because I'm going to cut that in 3 pieces. So I measured 3 and eventually cut 4 pieces because it makes more sense to have the riser with 4 legs. So here I'm just laying them down just to make sure that they were evenly placed. And then I took the measuring tape, and I'm doing this because I'm going to be nailing them down after I glue them in. And I want to measure from the inside to place that measurement on the outside so I know exactly where to nail once I've glued them down. So now that I have my markings down, I'm using bits of masking tape to just cover a little spot where the legs are going to be glued down. You want to have wood, raw wood on raw wood. So the tape is just to prevent the paint from getting on that side, because yes, I'm going to paint. So next I took the sanding block and I'm just sanding down the roughness just to prep it for painting. Sanded it down, and now I'm going to use Waverly chalk paint in white. And I'm giving the riser 2 good coats, and I didn't like that it was too white, so now I'm going in with some. I did not like how it looked, so I went in with some multi-surface. I also painted the underneath, painted my legs as well. And now it's time to put that together. I did leave this for a few days to dry properly. And now I'm going to be adding my transfer. So I'm making sure that the surface is all clean with no dust or anything. And then I remove the carrier sheet, place the transfer down, and I'm going to just use the little stick that it came with. Then once you're done, you just use the back of the carrier sheet to just burnish that. Love it, love it, love it. Next, I use a clear wax to finish that. So now I want to add the legs. I took the same sheet that the transfer came from and just rest the riser on top of that, but just so I don't mess up the front. And now I'm adding the legs using some wood glue as well as a little hot glue. And there is where I had the tape. I took that off, and now I'm adding that. If you are here for the first time, thank you so much for stopping by. I truly appreciate you coming over. I hope you would consider subscribing and make sure to hype the video if you see that icon there. I've never seen it, trust me. I've been watching videos and I've never seen that hype button, but if you see it on this one, please go ahead and hype it. So after I glued that in, as you can see, now I'm using some little small nails with my little handy dandy. This is actually a jewelry hammer that I'm using here. And once I indicate or mark where I needed to nail, I just nail those in. And now I'm using a little of the same multi-surface paint to just cover the nail heads. So these are some tumbling tower blocks that I had created something from, and I just pulled them apart and left these squares, and I'm just sanding them down. They were already painted, and after I sanded them down, I gave them just a coat of the white paint just to touch up those areas, and then I'm going to paint each of them with these colors. Now I decided to make some tiny buffalo check ribbon. There I have 2 of them on the side. I just did the awareness fold, scrunch in the middle, and I'm using a piece of flower wire to just hold that together. And I found this gold leaf petal thing, which I think is so cute. I'm just going to cut some pieces from that, maybe 2 petals each. So I want to take a moment to thank all of my subscribers, those that have been with me for many years and those that have joined recently, and also to those that are watching but have not yet subscribed. I understand that I have people watching from India, Bangladesh, Ghana. Yes, so if you have not yet subscribed, please go ahead and do so. If you're enjoying the content, I would appreciate if you would subscribe, and also like, comment, share. Any action that you take on the video signals to YouTube that you enjoy the content, and they will help to push that out to more viewers like yourself. So here I am gluing in these tiny Christmas trees that I got in a pack from Walmart. The best time to buy your Christmas stuff at Walmart is after the season. So that's when I had gotten these, and I thought that they looked so cute inside here. So I glue them in and glue on my bows, and now it's time to add our hanger. I only had these little pieces of ribbon. The white piece was long enough to make two for the green and the gold, and I had that red piece on for the red one, and I'm just gluing them down. After I glue them down, I am going to add a small piece of brown paper just to cover that up, and then I'm going to use some paint to paint over the paper. Next, I am going to use some Mod Podge Multi to seal everything in. That's the picture of the board. I removed the paper off camera. I had picked up those at Target Dollar Spot, and I gave it 2 coats of the Folk Art Adirondack. Those are bamboo strips that I painted with apple barrel, red apple or candy apple, and we're gonna get started with assembling these. Now why I'm showing you that is because the footage that I did where I scraped off the paper, painted the board, that got damaged. So we're starting at this place. Now, aren't these set of transfers beautiful? Oh my goodness, when I saw this, I had this in my stash. I purchased this on Amazon 2 Christmases ago. And when I saw this, I just love the vibrancy of the transfer. So I selected this one. We're going to use this one on our board. So I peeled that off. So once I got that on, this pack of wood laser cut words, Happy Holidays is what it's saying. I picked this up at Walmart. The earlier part of this year when they had their post-Christmas sale. That's the best time to shop for Christmas stuff. And it's 3 in the pack, so I picked one out, placed it on my board. Now I wanted what's showing behind the words to be black, so that's why I measured that, just marked where I needed to paint black, and then I took the black chalk paint and just painted that in. So once I glued them on, I used my clamps to clamp them up, and I left this for a day to dry properly. Now because the transfer was placed right in the middle, so I had this piece of ribbon. This is the last of it. Got this from the Dollar Tree. I scrunched it up in the middle and used a small floral wire to just wire that in the middle. and dovetail the ends. Now I snipped off 2 small leaves from this bunch of mistletoe bush that I had picked up from Walmart 2 Christmases ago. So I cut off 2 of them because of course we need some greenery, right? Just glue them down, glued on the ribbon, and because I didn't want it all that flat, I kind of raised the ribbon a little bit and just tacked it down with a little dab of hot glue. Glued a bow in the middle, added the string at the back, and we're gonna call this one done. Let me know what you think about this sign. I love the pop of red down the border, matches the poinsettia in the middle. So on one of my trips while I was out and about, I stopped in Dollar Tree and I saw these cute little snowman ornaments and I decided to grab one. I also grabbed one of these wooden laser one that says hope, and that's what we're going to be using for this one. Now this is a sign that I had used before and I'm now going to repurpose that. I painted it with 2 good coats of folk art Adirondack in white. While it is drying, I'm now going to work on my bead. Now I'm not going to do much with this. I just removed one of the beads, and these are wooden beads, looks very hard and sturdy. So I just removed one, and the string that was there, I just decided to glue that right around the base because that is going to be where I'm going to put my little snowman to stand on or glue down. And his scarf was a little too wonky, so I decided to pull that apart and just fix it a little bit. Now if you want to remove this and add something else, that's quite fine, you can do that. I didn't want to do much to this except to just adjust the scarf that was a little too wonky. So I just applied a little heat, opened it, and then just glued it back to how I wanted it to look and just trimmed up the ends of it a little bit. Hope sign. Now the hope was spelled with the H-O on top of the P-E, and I just cut those apart because we want it going horizontal, not vertical. So I removed that, just cut it apart, trimmed it down, sand down the bottom so that it looks nice and neat. And because the H-O is a little bit smaller than the P-E, I needed to create a base to put that on. So I got 2 strips of bamboo, glue them together using some wood glue and a little bit of hot glue just to keep them together while the wood glue dries, and then painted them. And now that it's all dry, it's time to glue that down. But before I did that, I took some antique wax and a sponge dabber, and I'm just distressing the edge of our base. My friends, if you are enjoying the content so far, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. YouTube tells me that 73% of my viewers are not subscribed. So if you are enjoying the content, I'd appreciate it if you would subscribe, and also hit that notification bell so you are notified whenever I upload new content. And now it's time to glue our pieces on our little base here. So I'm gluing down our snowman first, and he went on so snug. Then I'm gluing down the H-O on top of our base or our raised pieces, and I use a little hot glue there, and then our P-E, and the hot glue is for instant hold and our wood glue is for lasting hold. Now that piece fell off because I did not use any hot glue on that one, and it proved to me that I needed something to hold it quickly. Thankfully the wood glue didn't spread all the way through, so I was able to add a little hot glue there, and Christine's head was in the way. So now that is done, of course I am not done. I have these little tiny Christmas trees and made a small bow and glue that back in the middle. And now see, my thing is falling off again. And then I got these little Christmas trees in a pack from Walmart. Guys, January is the best time to buy your Christmas decoration because after the season they are selling out everything, sometimes as low as 90% off. And for a little pop of red on that side, I added 3 little berries right in front of the Christmas trees. And then to secure it, I just placed some hot glue at the back and our little sign is done. And this is what it looks like, my friend. I love it, love it, love it. You'll see a better angle of it in the final review. I have been using these little mushrooms that I got from Dollar General for $1, and I've been using the back side. I don't think I want to disturb the original side. I like to leave them as is sometimes. So I just removed the tag, sanded it down, gave it 2 coats of the chalk paint, and now it's dry. Now I'm going to do something different. And if you have not seen how I use the others, I will link that video right here so you can check that out. And here I'm just doing a little snowman's face, and the top part of the mushroom is going to be his hat. So I'll just let you watch to see how I do this because it's very therapeutic and straightforward. So you'll watch to see how I'll do this, and then I'll come back at the end to give you the scriptures and the final reveal. And guys, let me jump in here real quick. If you did not see my video that I posted on Wednesday, that has mushrooms in there as well. There is also a free printable down in my description box. I will link that in this video as well. You can check that out if you want to create mushroom projects. It has some cute graphics on there for Christmas, fall, and some vintage. Go ahead and check that out when you get done watching this video. So there you have it, my friends. I think he is so cute, and we still have our fall side. This was a sign that I did for my front door, double-sided reverse stenciling, but we're gonna change that. We're just gonna give that a fresh coat of white chalk paint in Adirondack, and then I took some craft sticks. I'm going to cover up where that hole was for our fall pumpkin. And to paint our craft sticks, I took a piece of painter's tape and I fold in one end, tape that down, and then fold in the other end and tape that down so the adhesive side is faced up. And we're going to place our craft sticks on that, and I'm going to give them a good coat of folk art black paint. This paint is very pigmented, so you only need really 1 coat. You can even dilute this down a little bit. I remembered that I needed to cut off 1 inch from one end, so that is what you see me doing here. I took one of them, cut the tip off of that, and used that as my guide to cut the others. And now we have all our pieces cut, painted. I'm going to be gluing them on using some wood glue and a little hot glue, starting at the very end and work my way in. Now, if you can't be bothered with craft sticks and doing all of that, you can actually just cut off that top part. But I wanted to leave that on there because I wanted the full length of my board. And in case you're wondering what I'm making a snowman. So now we have all of our pieces glued on. It's time to give the snowman a face. So I took a paint bottle and I'm using that to draw in the eyes, and I'm just making sure that it's evenly placed on the board. And then I drew in the nose, give him a little carrot nose, and then I drew in the mouth. I've been doing a lot of snowman this season. If you have not seen any of my drawings for snowman or any of my paintings, I'll leave one of the video at the top here. You can check that out. And this snowman is getting a scarf, so I drew that in as well. I'm exercising or practicing my artistic skills. And then I drew in some buttons, and of course we're going to paint all of that. So but before I paint it, I'm just finishing up the eyes. His eyes are gonna look cute. So now we have all our drawings done, and I lightly drew with a pencil because I didn't want to leave any marking of such. So now we're going to be painting. I took some apple barrel red, and here I'm using the folk art black again, and like I mentioned, you don't need a lot for that because it's very pigmented. So now it's time to start the painting process. So here I'm starting with the eyes. Are you enjoying the video so far? I know that I'm giving somebody some inspiration to go create a snowman for their porch or for their door. Yes, you can find either a piece of scrap wood or one of those fall signs that you are no longer using. Just turn it around and make a snowman. It is so fulfilling. Also, be sure to let me know where you're watching from. I have people watching my videos from all over the world, and I'd love to know where you're watching from. So now we're finished with the eyes and the mouth. I took some orange and I'm now painting in the nose, because of course he has a little carrot nose. So I'm just painting that in. And then to just make it pop on the board, I took the Sharpie, and I'm outlining where I had made the pencil marks to make it pop, and then I'm adding eyelashes. Yes, our snowman needs eyelashes and eyebrows. And now I'm going to be painting his sash, and I took some red paint, painted that in. Once that dried, I remembered that I needed to outline this as well, so I'm now going around that with the Sharpie, and it also gave it that whimsical look. And here he is, looking oh so cute. And then there was one little area on this sash that needed touching up, and I used a paint pen, and then it turned out to be brighter than the other section, so I ended up having to go all the way around. I then took the Sharpie and added little strokes on his carrot nose, not note. And next I took the white paint mark and just drew some little dots in his eyes to give it the sparkle. I found a piece of leftover tree skirt from the Dollar Tree, and I cut a piece of that, and I am using the hot glue to just fold in the edges. But before I did that, I needed to cover up the hole at the back. So I put a piece of paper in there, used my nails to give me an impression, and then I cut that out and use it to cut a piece of foam to just place in that area. Now if you want, you can also add the craft sticks to cover up that, or you can, just like I am doing, just put a piece of foam in there. And then I flip it back over, cut 3 leaves from a mistletoe bush that I had, glue them down with a little hot glue, and then I just place the strip back there just to cover up the leaves and to make sure I know where I'm going to be gluing it. Trimmed off the excess and just fold in the edges, added a little hot glue to the edge of the board and glued that down. And this is done, my friends. We'll be using this triple piece hanging decor from the Dollar Tree, and I tried to strip off the paper by hand, but that proved fruitless, so I soaked it off, and I'm going to give them each 2 good coats of this folk art Adirondack in white. So then I reached for my beautiful Christmas stickers. I got this on Amazon last year. I will certainly leave a link for this in my description box below, because many of you have asked me about this pretty, so I'll link that down below for you. So after going through and selecting the ones that were suitable for the board, these are the ones that I chose. So I am just cutting them out close enough where I can then rub them on. And now I have them all cut out. Selected the one for the middle first, and we're going to rub that one on, and then we're going to do the other two. I love it. Very, very pretty. I love the sharp colors on here. And then I just flipped over the carrier sheet and burnished that. And I did the same thing for the end pieces. Just to point out that if you are peeling and you realize that the sticker is not coming up, you just lay it back down and grab it again and peel. And if it still doesn't happen, you just continue doing it until you get it off. Next, I took my red ink pad and just distress the edges. Now, if this is not your style, of course, you can skip this step, or you can use the antique wax for that. And once again, if you are enjoying the video so far, go ahead and give it a big thumbs up. And if you are new to my channel and love the content, I would appreciate if you would subscribe. Hit that bell icon and select all so that you'll be notified whenever I upload new content. And now to embellish, I had these two little bells that I had pre-painted from earlier or last year, I believe. And then I just tied a piece of baker's twine on both of them and have one of them a little longer than the other. And then I made a simple bow with this gingham ribbon, like a double loop bow. I just wrapped it around 3 of my fingers twice, and then just cut a long enough end, run that through the fingers, bring it back around and tie my bow, and then here I am just pulling out the loops. I hope that made sense to you. If it doesn't, just slow the video down and then you can just watch to see how I did it, and then just dovetail the ends. Next, I cut 2 little leaves from this branch or this vine of eucalyptus leaves, and then to go a little further, I cut a piece from this mesh ribbon from the Dollar Tree because it just looks so nice with it. And then I just gathered that up with the ribbon or with the bow and glued that down. And I forgot about the bells that quickly, so I just immediately pulled off the bow and then just wrapped the string of the bells around the bow and then glued that back down, and then added the leaves. I then flipped it over, added back the string that was there with the beads, and this one is done, my friends. Love it. Let me know what you think about this one. So this one is a redo from one that I did last year for 5 under 5 with a Christmas song sheet. And what I did, this plaque or frame I got from the Dollar Tree. So I reprinted the song on a parchment paper, and here I am using the paper cutter to just cut off the edges. And if you missed my video where I reviewed this laminator, I will link that here at the top. You can check that out, or I will link it down in the description box below. So the original picture, or the one that I had done before, was not laminated, so the paper was just left open. So here I reprinted it, I'm redoing it, and since I now have the laminator, I am laminating this, and then I'm going to put it back into the frame. So this laminator is very handy. That link that I will link with the review, you can check that out. So once I trim that down, I am going to run it through the laminator. I just printed out the words Jesus gentlest Savior, but for some reason I left off the L and it says gentes. but I will fix that in the end. So I laminated that, trimmed it down, and then fit it back into the frame. This wreath came off of it, but it needs a little bit more pit berries, so I'm gluing those on. Glued those on, trimmed up the wreath, and then glued that back on. And this one is done. Simple, quick, and easy redo. And you will see more of this in the final reveal. From the 99-cent store. And guys, this has been in my stash for as long as I can remember. The bottom part needs to be screwed in, and that is how it looks after you screw it in. But I am going to change this up, so I gave it a good coat of folk art Adirondack chalk paint, using the sponge dabber to just go all over this. I love the ridges on here, and we're going to bring that forward after we get done painting. If you made it this far in the video without skipping ahead, you're a rock star. I love you. So now that it's done, this is what it looks like. Next, to highlight the ridges on the bowl and to just bring that back to the forefront, I am using some Robin Buff. So I've tried using the stick first just to go over the indentations and to bring those areas back to life, but it wasn't working well enough, so I used my finger. After using my finger for a while, I realized that it still needed a little bit more, so I went with the gold paint, gold metallic paint from Martha Stewart. So this is what it looks like when I was done. And now it needed, I thought it needed something else to make it pop. So I took the black paint pen, and some areas where we had little circles, I'm just highlighting those with the black pen. And then I went to the top and and I didn't want to overdo it any further, so I decided to just stop here. Next, I screwed on back the base. Then I took it outside and gave it 2 good coats of Mod Podge spray and left that to dry properly, and that is done. You'll see shatterproof water globe, but I'm not going to put any water in here. I'm going to use snow. So I removed the suction cup. I wanted half of the globe to have like a frosted look. So I took a piece of masking tape and I just went from one end right over it to the other end. And then I'm using a little Mod Podge. I realized that the Mod Podge would have dried clear, so I went and added some paint. So here I'm using some plastic paint from Folk Art and just mixing it with the Mod Podge, and it gave it a darker glaze. And when I was satisfied, I peeled off the tape, but then after I peeled off the tape, I realized that it did not come far enough at the front, so I went back, just maybe added another 1/2 inch space, and then just painted that in. And now I'm taking these little wooden mushrooms from my stash. Got these from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to paint one with red top and the other with white. And then I took a little antique wax on a piece of baby wipe and just wiped in the stems. Now, why I did not use this as a water globe, because if you're going to put water in there, you have to make sure that whatever you are gluing down is going to stay, because if it doesn't stay, then it's gonna start floating once you add the water, and I didn't want to have to deal with that. So then I took this little gingerbread boy painted it with two coats, well, not two coats, one coat of white paint. And this snowflake, I'm using some ocean or pool Waverly chalk paint in pool, and just gave that one good coat. And now I am adding some little red dots to the mushrooms. I gave the white top red dots and the red dot and the red one white tops. White dots, not tops. Next, I am giving the little snowman eyes and nose and mouth and a little scarf using the red marker. I love drawing the snowman and gingerbread faces, so this was like fun for me to do. Next, I took the sanding block and sanded down the sheen from the base because I'm going to glue down those things on there, so it needed to be sanded down. And then I found this Christmas tree that had a lot of glitter on there. I removed the base, and now I'm using a little red paint to just place some dots on there to give it the appearance that they are lights or bulbs on our Christmas tree. Then I took the heat gun and dried that, and I wanted one of the mushrooms to raise a little bit off the surface, so I glued down a little bead, wooden bead, and then I took the tip of the glue gun and make a hole in the plastic base there, and then I just glued in the Christmas tree. Next, I glued down the snowflake, glued on the next mushroom. Or lost between the mushrooms. Then I took my faux snow. I have this bag of different types of faux snow, and I'm adding it to the globe just enough. You don't want too much, because if you have too much, then it's going to cover the Christmas tree and cover the mushrooms and all of those things. So I just added a little of these foam beads from the Dollar Tree. These things are so messy. If you get any of this on the floor, oh boy, it's gonna take like days for you to actually clean that up properly. So after I added the snow, now it's time to add my base with my trees and stuff, and this is what it looks like. Now see, I had to pull it back out because here is where I said I did not like how the little snowman was just lost in the middle right there. So I found a small Christmas tree. I believe I had got these from Michael's when they had their post-Christmas sale, and then just glued that there and glued back down the other mushroom, and this is done. So next I am going to use some Mod Podge to add to the base or the surface, because that will help the snow to stick. And I went all the way around into the little crevice and corners, added enough Mod Podge, and now I'm adding back that. And then after I forced that in, I just flipped it over, and I love it. Love. So here I'm just trying to decide which ribbon I am going to add. But as you notice, I was adding the ribbon without putting back the cover on there, and I didn't realize until I was almost done. And then I realized, oh, you needed the ribbon. You needed the cover, and so I did that. And now I'm going to cover that space right in the middle there. I am using a piece of braided jute cord, and I went all the way around, glued that down, and then I made a little red bow and glued that at the front. And this is almost done. So after I looked at it, I'm like, no, it needs something else. So I took a piece of this fine yarn. I think this is Chanel yarn from the Dollar Tree. And I am going to go around right on the edge where the frosted section and the clear section is, and just border that, starting at one end and ending at the other end. So let me take a moment to just say welcome back to my subscribers. Thank you so much, guys. And if you are new here, my name is Christine and you are on the budget friendly crafting channel. If you're welcome, I hope you find value in the content that I share and consider subscribing. So this is what it looks like, my friend. I love it, love it, love it. Let me know what you think about this. And you'll see more of this in the final reveal. This one was inspired by some graphics that I got from Creative Fabrica. These Christmas graphic. I downloaded those and just designed them a little bit in Canva. I will link that down below just in case you are interested in these. And I got the canvas panels from Walmart. Yes, 5 in a pack. I believe I paid $5 and change for it. So I'll be using one of those, and I selected this graphic that could easily fit on over the canvas. It was a little larger than the canvas, but that's okay because I'm just gonna fold over the edges after I Mod Podge this down. So I took the Mod Podge, spread a light coat over the canvas until it was very tacky, and then I placed the paper on top of that, used the parchment paper and some heat to just reactivate that Mod Podge. And on the topic of Creative Fabrica, they are giving away free downloads for a few days leading up to about November 20. And I have linked those on my community tab. You can check that out if you would like to get some free Christmas download from Creative. And here I am just evening up the edge before I glue that down. I took this school glue and just rub that along the edges and then just fold that over onto the back. This is a very easy, budget-friendly way to create seasonal decor at no cost whatsoever, basically, because the download, you just print that off. If you have a color printer, then that's free. If you have to go out and get it printed, then that's gonna probably cost you something. Now on this sheet, I put together a series of words: Merry Christmas, Noel, peace, joy, joy to the world in different sizes. So here I'm just trying to select the words that would fit on this sign. Next, I found this laser cut Christmas tree in my stash. I painted it with one coat of this jungle classic green from Folk Art. But before I put that on, I am just going over the surface of our paper with a coat of Mod Podge. Then I dried that and then glued on the Christmas tree. I didn't want it flat on the surface, so I left the little glue dot that was on there. But if you want, you can remove that and add like a small wooden bead just to elevate it a little bit. And then I took a black ink pen and I'm just outlining the traces or the lines that were already on the Christmas tree. And then took the red paint pen and added some little lights. Then made a small bow with some jute cord, Mod Podged our Christmas tree before I glued on the bow, just leaving that little space for the bow to be glued on. Then I just glued it on with a little hot glue. Next, I flipped it over, and now for this to stand, I took 1/2 of a clothespin, painted that white, and then to give me some grip, I just used the X-Acto knife and scored some lines into the tip of the clothespin so that the glue can hold onto the surface because the back of it is smooth. And then I took cement glue from the Dollar Tree, added that. You can add hot glue for quick holding. Prop that up in place. I used a little paint pen there, but then it wasn't drying fast enough and I needed something sturdier. So I took a piece of bamboo strip, painted that white, and I'm going to glue that right under the clothespin, and that will be for added security. So while it dries, it can stand upright. And this is what it looks like, my friend. Love it, But you let me know what you think about this one. Wine glasses. I had these in my stash. Well, not actually in my stash. I had purchased these at the thrift store for pennies, maybe 6 years ago. That's long before I started my channel. And I had done a DIY where I stuffed them with the ornaments and some berries, sealed the bottom, and had them up in my house year in, year out. And then last week I decided, let me just remake these and show my subscribers how this can be done so easily on a budget. So I emptied the glasses, cleaned them up, and here I'm now showing you how I made them. So I'm starting with the ornaments. I just use my flower cutter or wire cutter to just remove the tips, and then I use one of the berries to just cover that hole, and then I'm just simply going to put them back inside the glass, and then just fill up the empty spaces with the berries. Now you can choose whatever you want to put. You can actually make globes where you put like a small Christmas tree. I was going to do that, but the Christmas trees that I have was touching the inside of the glass, and they were too long or too high, so I forgot about that. But you can actually do it that way. So once I put the ornaments back in there, I'm just filling up the empty spaces with the berries. You can use 2 colors, you can use 1. And you see me use a dab of hot glue there. That is not necessarily needed, but I just chose to do it. I'm actually putting everything back that were in there. You can place the leaf at the top, and then I had cut out 2 pieces of the poster board, or you can use the foam board. This is a piece of foam board that was snug, so I just reused that. So here I'm showing you that some of the berries didn't look so right for that one, so I scratched that, tossed those out, and here I'm using some different berries. So I'm just repeating the steps. Place the ball in there, then fill it with the berries, and then I'm going to cover it with the leaf, and then use the poster board on top of that. If you're joining me for the first time, my friends, or if you're coming over from the playlist, which I will talk a little bit more once I get further into the video, welcome. I am so happy to have you. I hope you find value in the content that you're watching today, and to subscribe. So after I got that done, here I am taking this ribbon that I got from Dollar General. I believe I got this from. I could have gotten it from the Dollar Tree. I don't remember. So I'm just taking a piece of that, wrapping it around the stem of the glass, glued it down with a dab of hot glue, and then trimmed off the excess. And then I made a tiny shoelace bow and glue that down. Now you can look to see whichever side of your decor, once you turn that down, whichever side looks more appealing, you can choose to put your bow on that side, and that is what I did. So I made the bow, dovetailed the ends, glued it on, and this is what it looks like. Much better. And I took a piece of the same ribbon and wrapped that around the rim of the vase, or the rim of the glass, and that's just to cover up where the little cardstock or foam board, depending on what you choose to put inside, but that's just to cover up the imperfections on the rim of the glass. And this is done, and I actually made 2 of them. So cute, simple, quick, and easy Christmas decor. So here is our scrap wood. I had purchased a long sheet of wood. This came prefabbed, pre-painted and everything. And I cut it into 8 even pieces, and each piece is, I believe it's 4 feet long and maybe 13 inches wide. That is good enough to give me a porch leaner. So we are making a porch leaner that says welcome. Now, because this is so large, it was hard to film in one piece. So I had to use my phone to capture this part. And here I am just laying down some stencils that spell the word welcome, and they fit perfectly on the board. And then I'm going to paint that with Waverly chalk painting ink. And here it is. I actually had done this part before I started filming, and then I just went back and laid out everything. And then after that dried, we are now going to do the reverse side. So I flipped it around, and we're gonna make a snowman here. So I traced off where his hat is going to be, use some masking tape to just separate that, and then I'm going in with some diluted ink paint. And this is what it looks like after I gave it one good coat, and I'm going to allow that to dry properly. And while that is drying, or once that was dried, because I didn't want to work on it while the top is still wet, so now I'm going to work on the bottom part. I gave that a coat of white paint, which didn't really show like it made a difference because the paint just seeped right into the board. But I painted it anyway because I wanted it to look crisp. So here I am painting it. Don't know why I'm showing you all of this, but I painted it with just one coat because the base coat that was already on there as purchased was quite fine. So next, after the top dried and my bottom is drying, I took my stencil. This one says let it snow, place that at the top and just tape that down. And then I'm going to give a coat of white paint, stencil on some white paint on top of this. Using my sponge dabber, I just went all the way around. You don't want a lot because you don't want it to bleed through too much. So I stencil that on. Now that's done. I peeled it off, dried it, and there it is. Let it snow. So now you guys know I love double-sided reversible signs. I just think that you need to use up the reverse side of your wood to get two for the price of one. So of course, this is perfect. So now I'm just tracing in the eyes very lightly, as you can see, but it's happening. And then I traced in the nose. We're giving him a carrot nose here. And then I traced in the mouth. Hopefully you can see as much of it. Like I said, the board is large enough so the camera angle didn't cover everything. But you get the picture. I've been making a lot of snowman on this channel. You have an idea as to what I'm doing. So once I got my drawing done, the face, I just shifted the board a little bit, and then I'm drawing in his sash and his buttons. And then once we got that done, now it's time to draw in the pupil on his eyes. And after I start painting, you'll see what it looks like. So now it's time to paint. I will be quiet where that is concerned and just ask if you are here for the first time. Just in case you dropped in at this point and you're wondering, what is she doing? I am making a snowman, and I painted in his eyes. I took the marker paint pen, or I think it's a paint pen that I took, and just outlined the eyes, outlined the blue, outlined the black. And now I'm painting his carrot nose with some orange paint. I had used the orange paint pen to just highlight or to outline that. And now I'm going in with the eyelashes. Yes, our snowman needs some eyelashes. And that's not a bag under his eye. That's the bottom part of his eyes with the eyelashes, if you know what I'm talking about. I was looking at a drawing for this part because I've never done a snowman with this part of his eye. So I decided to just make this one a little different. And then I just took the paint pen and added some strokes to his nose and I took the back of the paint, I think it's the back, or it's a fine tip, maybe it's a fine tip paintbrush, and just painting some glaze in the eyes. And this is what it looks like. This is the other side that I'm showing you. Everything dried. I left it properly. Painted the sash red. Don't know if I had captured that on camera, but I painted it red. And then touched up the snowflakes with some of the blue paint. And then I took it outside and sprayed it with the Mod Podge spray. And this is our snowman. He is so cute. You will see more of him in the final reveal. A little Christmas tree came from the Dollar Tree, and I've used it a lot, like in my final reveal when I'm showing ornaments. I've used it, and then when I was done, I would just put it back in the box. So now I decided to just frost it a little bit, make it look like snow, or just to change it up from the plain old drab Christmas tree. So I took some white paint and a dried chippy brush and just dusted on the leaves with the paint. And I use the chippy brush because bristle over bristle is much easier than if you use a sponge brush or anything like that. The paint goes on very easier with the chippy brush. And you can do a little, you can do a lot. And I had to change the brush there because one was too stiff and this one gave me better results. And here I'm just fluffing the leaves and making sure that I got all the areas covered. So I did this until I was satisfied, and then I dried it, and now I have a snowy looking Christmas tree that when I'm showcasing my ornaments, which you will see how much of a difference this makes. This is a napkin that I got from my friend May over at Craft Away with May, and we're going to use this to make an ornament and some cardboard. So I grabbed this wood circle that was already painted. I used that to cut 2 pieces of the cardboard out, and then I'm going to give them both a coat of white paint. You only need 1 coat because I want to have a base color behind the napkin. Now they're dry. When I was tracing out the ornament, I forgot to leave the tip on there on the cardboard, so now I have to find another way of adding my little tip on. I took a red popsicle stick and just cut off both ends, maybe about 1 inch in length, and then tape that down on a piece of wood. Use my handy dandy Hardell drill and drill holes in there, and then I just opened a small section in my cardboard and I'm going to glue those tips in, and that will be what I will use to hang the ornaments. Next, I remove the layers. This napkin has 2 extra layers, so I remove those, and now I'm adding some Mod Podge. I just placed it on there until it became tacky. Then I added my napkin over on top of that. Now I'm making sure that where the hanger or the tip of the napkin is, it's lining up with the popsicle stick. Then I took the parchment paper and the heat press, and you all know how this works. We use that to reactivate the Mod Podge so that it holds. And then I flipped it over and did the same thing to the other side. So you guys already know how to do all of this. But if you are here for the first time, welcome. I hope you consider subscribing. And if you're seeing this decoupage technique for the very first time, I will leave a video at the top here. And then once that was done, I trimmed it off. And now I am ready to move on to the next step. And if you've made it to this part of the video without skipping ahead, you're awesome. Thank you so much. Next, I took a piece of jute cord and starting at the tip of our popsicle stick, glue the end down. And yes, hot glue is hot, so you have to be careful. And I just went all the way around on the edge of our ornament until I got to the next side. And I did that for both of them. And now we're ready to embellish. I took a poker tool and just reopened the hole for our hanger. And then I had a piece of mesh. I just liked how the mesh looked on here. It just gave it a little different. So I just cut that down, fed it through our bow that I made, gave it a little shabby chicish look. And then I cut down 2 pieces of this little fern that I have here, and I'm going to add that. But here I'm just stringing the ornament with a piece of jute. I had a black button that I'm going to embellish now, and I'll just let you watch to see how I'm finishing these ornaments. So there you have it, my friends. Our ornaments are complete. And you'll see more of that in the final reveal. Now, this is our scripture for today. This is from Isaiah 45, verse 2 and 3. I will go before you and I will level the mountains. I will break down gates of bronze and cut through bars of iron. I will give you hidden treasures, riches stored in secret places, so that you may know that I am the Lord, the God of Israel, who summons you by name. Isn't it amazing to know that God knows our name? He knows everything about us. Now here we are for the cherry on the top. Love, love, love these. Now guys, let me know which one of these was your favorite. I know which one was mine. All of them. Make sure to stick around to the end so you don't miss any of the final reveal from these DIYs. We are almost at the end, guys. Hang on in there. And just a reminder, the original videos will be linked in the description box below. and these will be time stamped, so if you want to jump ahead to any of the DIYs on this video, you can just click on the time stamp and that will take you there. And if you've been wondering how you can help to support my channel, my Buy Me a Coffee link is also in my description box below. And there you have it, my friends. Thank you so much for watching. I enjoyed crafting with you today. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more creative projects like these. And tap that notification bell as well so you never miss an upload. Need more inspiration? Click right here for other fun DIYs. Happy crafting, stay safe, and I'll catch you in my next one. Bye!